Hello, good afternoon. It's not morning. I know I said I was going to try to do morning show. Can you hear me? Okay. My Wi-Fi is a little bit dodgy down here, so don't know if it's getting a good signal or not. You can let me know if it sounds good. Yeah, I know I said I was going to try to do the mornings, but it's a little bit challenging to get ready for the mornings, especially when you stay up all night watching streams and participating in these streams, you know. But I just wanted to go through, maybe show some of the things that I do during the week. I don't know if you guys are maybe interested in that stuff, but I work in a fabrication place, and it's a lot of welding, a lot of you know uh, heavy lifting stuff like that. You know how it is, Wally, in one of those places. So I did put a little bit of a video together, which I'm going to show, and I'll share the screen, and hopefully it'll work, and you guys will be able to hear it. Okay, let me know if you can't. So, but this is something I was working on this week, and so I'm gonna all these tabs open, all these tabs, Wally. So I'll probably just make it full screen. Yeah, I bet you do a little bit of everything, Wally. I'm the same way. I've came through the shop floor. I was, you know, operator, CNC machine operator, tool maker, that kind of thing. That's what I did. So, but I'm going to just share this, and let me know if you can hear the sound, Wally. Let me know if everything's good on this. Okay, can't hear it. Okay, thank you. Let's start it again. This time, share the sound, right? That might help. Let's see. I don't know why it's not sharing the sound. But if you can't hear it, I can talk us through it anyway. But yeah, it's a pretty decent sized shop. But yeah, so we made this agitator, and if you can't hear the sound, I'm just gonna narrate it a little bit then. So this is an agitator and you put a filter drum inside it, and it's huge, like it's 12 foot in diameter. I'm guessing you still can't hear the sound, which is fine. But what I'll do is I'll turn the sound off altogether on this side so that I can just tell you guys what's going on. But this is it's a drum agitator. So what it does is, this will stir up the water in like a large tank, like a effluent tank, and like an industrial plant. So this is just one of the agitators that we were building. There's two of these monstrosities that are being built, uh, and they're both 20-foot long and 12-foot in diameter. The drums are 12-foot in diameter. I'll show you the drum here later on here when I get through the video. But yeah, this is just this was what holds the drum. So it spins around basically and gets the crud off, skims the crud off the top of the tank. Does that make sense? Oh. So yeah, all stainless steel. All stainless. Yeah. So the water is rotated around on the inside. Yes. And I'm not going to dox these guys, you know, but I'll stop the audio on these since you can't even hear it anyway. But these guys, they're very, very skilled welders and stuff, and yeah, the water goes around on the inside of the cylinder. And when it's rotated, it will skim off the the garbage, yes, the effluent off out of the water. Yes, it is a MIG job. That's right, Wally. We had to order specific 317L rods or wire for this job. It was specified on the actual documents, that we had to use that. So I'm just going to play this on again here. And of course, you can imagine, Wally, they're having trouble with it's warping because of the heat. The amount of heat that's being put into that, and it'll start to warp. So they've set this drive on top of it, very, very heavy drive, just to keep it flat. Keep the metal from bowing up. And you saw them earlier; they were standing on it as well. So that's what we'll do is, like, if things start like heating up and starting to bow and warp and stuff, we'll have to weight it down and let it relax a little bit, as you can understand, Wally. If you want to jump on here, bro, we can have a chat if you want. But yeah, that was just a little video I made in Clipchamp. But let's just see what the drum looks like. Let's see. I'll take that off the screen. Boom, 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 boom. This StreamYard stuff's a little bit complicated, isn't it? Like, it's a lot of tabs open all the time. Well, as far as my part in this, so I'll show you guys. I'll share the screen of that too. What I do. Let's see. Get you on this one. Hope you guys can see that there. Pretty good. So this, I draw the things up for them, Wally, so that they can put it together. There's a lot of times when it's a large structure, they don't have time to sit and calculate, what the angle should be or how it should be notched out or coped out. You know what I mean? if you've done any coping when you're putting like pipes together, they don't want to have to sit there and work that out. But this is what I do. And let me just show you a little bit more. This might take a second to pull up because I'm working on a hotspot. It's a little bit quicker when I'm actually at the place. So here's what I did for them. Put this thing together here. And zoom in a little bit here. I don't have my 3D mice set up because I'm sitting here at work or at the house rather than at work. But let me see if I can get that set up actually. Oh, my cup just fell. Sweet. Let's see if this thing will work for me. Dang it. I need my cable. Anyways, it's not important for now, but so I designed these three-dimensional structures for these guys, and helps them to be able to put it together, as you can see. So obviously, you know, we get to talk about meltology at work as well. The guys are very interested. You know, I mean, they're interested because, you know, it is a monumental task. Some of the structures that we look at. Yes, I do the planning, and there's a group of guys in there. Like there's maybe 3 or 4 of us that kind of get together and try to work out these jobs before we get to it, because some of the structures are huge. Right, as you can imagine, some of the structures are very, very big. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show what that filter looks like that goes inside it. A lot of silence on the show this morning, which is not a bad thing sometimes. When you've had a hectic week, sometimes it's nice to sit and relax for a second. But here's what that drum looks like inside of that. Hope you guys can see that pretty good. We are inside the trailer, indeed. Wally, I finally got it worked out to where I can be inside the trailer that I want to work on, right? Because I've been driving, you know, an hour to get there. Here, let me just make this full screen so you guys can see it a little bit better. Whoever took these pictures, they did a portrait. I wish they hadn't done that, but so this is inside the filter. You see all the piping. So what happens is the drum turns and there's holes on the outside of the drum, and each hole will have a pipe that comes to it. So that's bringing in the water, and then it goes inside this drum where it will rotate and it will skim off the crud inside it, basically. So hopefully you guys can see that pretty good. So zoom in. And these trunnions on the side, they weigh somewhere in the region of 500 pounds for these trunnions. Each side is 500 pounds. So getting that thing lined up there is not easy, as you can imagine, Wally. Very kind of a difficult thing, tricky. So we got to design these. I have to design these fixtures, that will hold this so they can rotate it and they can weld it, and everything stays concentric, which is very important. And that's what it looks like on the end of it. So you'll have these pipes, stainless steel. Everything in this thing is stainless steel. Oh yeah, getting it lined up, Wally, getting the two ends concentric with each other, especially with the equipment that we have. It's not easy. So that's why I have to build these jigs. See these rests and stuff. We'll have to build all this to try to line it up, make sure it's all straight. So that's part of it as well as drawing the entire assembly. So very boring stuff for most folk, I can imagine. Engineering. But yeah, even the welding on the inside, while it's very intricate as well, everything has to be at the right angles, for the water flow. So these welds they're not the best, as you can see, but they're not too bad. I mean, pretty decent job. We do have pipe welders, certified pipe welders here, but welding inside of this is not easy. You're in a cramped space, and it's the gases as well. You can imagine the gases that are coming off the rods and stuff. It's not a very fast rotation setting egg. You're probably talking one revolution per hour, maybe. One full revolution per hour. It's a very, very slow moving unit. It may be a little more than that, but it's not very fast. Yeah, if it was spinning at like 1,000 RPM or something, yeah, you'd have to balance that thing. You'd have to put it on a balancer and all that. But this is just some examples of what I do through the week. Maybe get into some melt picks here in a minute. I must admit I haven't had a lot of chance to put anything together as far as meltology or brickology or old world stuff, But I'm always thinking about it, just like you guys, always thinking about it. But yeah, everything's very precise on this thing, even though it's so large. This is 12 feet in diameter, by the way, guys. 12 feet. So 2 men. Well, it depends how tall they are. I'm 5'8". So 2 of me plus a couple more inches, right? So it's a very large unit. And that's the end of my slideshow. Let's see if we can get into some melt for a minute. Oh, on the screen. Yeah, the photos don't really show you the size of it, Wally. I mean, it's so huge. It filled our entire loading bay, for where we load large drives and motors and stuff. And that bay is it's barely big enough to hold it, Yeah, I know it looks about 8 foot, but did you see the one? Let's see if I can get back to. Okay, let me pull up this picture. It's a video actually. Maybe you guys will be able to hear the sound on this one. Hopefully, let's see. I'll share this with you. Can you guys hear that? Hopefully, you can hear that. But yeah, so that might give you a little bit better idea of the size of it, Wally. That's our whole loading dock right there, just fill with it. Sorry you guys can't hear the sound, but I don't know why it's not letting me do that. Let's try it a different way. It's not important. I don't really say much in it. Let's see if I can do it this way. I feel like I got to fill all the space with sound, but I don't think you really have to. Hey DJ, what's happening, bro? How's Northern Ireland this morning or this afternoon? I mean, it's probably late over there actually. Maybe 6 o'clock. See, I'll share this one. Maybe you'll get the sound on this one. Oh, all right. Calm down, Johnny. Just documenting building this drum head, it's called. There's a water clarifier, 12-foot diameter. There's a forklift in the background just for scale. But yeah, pretty decent size piece of kit. So hopefully you can hear it a little better there now, Wiley, can you? Got the sound on it this time. If anybody wants to come up and join, you're welcome to do so. Oh, you can hear it now? Good. Sweet. I got another one. All right, let's share another one. Let's see this one. So I'm trying my best not to dox my guys, that I work with. As you can imagine, welders are not very happy about being on camera and stuff. You know what I mean when they're working. So I have to be careful. Don't do anything. Don't want to offend them. Really, you know what I'm saying, guys. So, but they're really friendly guys. Like we have a good relationship together. We have to, because if we're not talking, something's going to go wrong. So we try to communicate as much as possible. But let me pull up some melt here. We'll do a bit of. Let's do Afghanistan. I've already looked at this one, but I mean, they're always interesting to look at. So I'm sure you guys have already seen. Oh, these ones before. Some of them, but I always find them very interesting, especially in the Middle East, right? In the Middle East, where it was supposed to be very low key, right? They would talk as if they're like third century type lifestyle. It'd be like not even donkeys, right? Like camels and stuff. Weren't they talking about having camels in the Middle East? And I don't even know if they had mules. Mules are hard, like because mules are like you got to breed them, don't you? I mean, they can't reproduce. Mules. Well, I think they can reproduce, but it's very rare that a mule will reproduce. But yeah, that's at Herdadale City in Afghanistan, where it's supposed to be very low end, you know, not a whole lot of equipment. We just saw, a structure that we had made here locally, a huge water clarifier component. So it's like, you saw the work that was going into that just to build that thing, the drawings and the planning. So, like the drawings and the planning for this kind of an item here, Wally, like you'd have to plan that out. I'm sorry that the quality is not the best on that photograph right there, but yeah, that would take quite a bit of drawing and planning and getting all the equipment and tools together. You got logistics to think about. Where are you going to get this stuff from? But to get them so symmetrical, guys, very symmetrical. Everything's very uh, perfect almost. You know what I mean? It looks very square. Uh, Building these walls out, with the curve on them and stuff. I mean, that's quite a bit of a challenge right there. Uh, New findings under the pyramids, coil tar. Yes, I'd seen some stuff, some new stuff, DJ. What we find that they're doing is, because we're uncovering a lot of this old world stuff, we think they're panicking a little bit and they're putting out false narratives, to try to get ahead of us a little bit. They don't want us to be the ones that have the truth. I'm not saying we know everything because, as I mentioned in a live stream a little while ago, if we were to have say there was a pie chart, and it had 100% of human knowledge, like behind me, right? We divide that chart up into segments. How much would the average person know? Like in terms of that pie chart, I mean, I would venture to guess that probably less than 1%. For me personally, I'd say less than 1% of that entire pie chart would be what I know, because I haven't read everything and I don't know everything. But yeah, these people seem to, when they get panicky, DJ, and they'll want to, try to come up with a theory. I see them all the time. Like when you go to MSN, open up your uh, Google page, it'll give you all these hits for, especially because of I'm looking into meltology. It'll give all these new findings, archaeological findings, you know, because I think they're trying to steer us in a certain way. All the churches were maybe healing centuries back in the day. They all have a battery and storage. It seems like that they had energy, DJ, and we would venture to say that the entire, uh, all the cities were generating their own energy, and it was free energy. It wasn't the energy that we uh, would think about, being generated by a power station and stuff like that. Obviously they probably had Tesla, you know, technology even back then. I hate to say Tesla technology because he didn't invent it. He just rediscovered it. To be honest with you, as you all know. Let me pull up another one. See if we can go to. It's all over the world, DJ. These places. So here's another one. Which is pretty intricate. I'm sure you've seen this before too. But this one's in Afghanistan too. The Blue Temple, I think it is what they're calling it, the Blue Temple. So someone went to great lengths, with the colors and stuff on this thing. Can you guys imagine tiling this thing? Putting these tiles on here? Very intricate. And looks like it's systematically done. But that's a lot of work at a time when they, were supposed to have no equipment, nothing. Healing, yes, I would say that's true as well, DJ. It seems like that there was healing powers from these buildings. The resonance frequencies and stuff that would be produced by, let's say, a bell ringing. It's a nice sound, isn't it? It sounds nice, especially if it's in the right frequency. I love hearing church bells ringing. I don't know about you guys, but it's very relaxing to me. There's a better picture of that overview of that place. Such a ornate building. And like I know we don't really think about the floor too much, but we do actually, don't we? we do think about the floors, but this is not a dirt floor, guys. This time, this is a perfectly smooth floor right here. I can't imagine leveling that out. Can you? Getting your float out and making that thing as smooth as that. It's just a perfect job. Everything looks so flat and nice. So I mean, this is like 300 AD or something like that. This building, apparently, which is just ludicrous for the equipment that they had at the time. Yeah, the old world had everything we don't have today. I don't know, Meldasarkus. I don't know, but I would assume that they had better equipment than we have because of the structures that they made. And you guys know now, like I build stuff. This is what we do. Like we make stuff. I do drawings to help people to create these metal structures. Now we're not into building with bricks and stone. but we do take a lot of time to to do these structures. Just another one of that glorious building. Founded. Yep, founded. That's the word they use, DJ. It didn't make it. They just founded it, right? I wish one of you guys would come up here so we can chat. But I'm trying to smoke less as well. But yeah, I hope you guys like the backdrop now that I'm in the trailer. And this is going to give me a better chance to, fix this thing up when I'm actually living up here. So it took a long time for me to get into the position to do it. And that's why I haven't been really streaming much, and I haven't been really looking into, meltology or any subjects really. Mostly just trying to get stuff back together again. But you can see it's my daughter's paintings down here. I don't know if you guys can see those. I'll give you a little look. Yeah, my daughter is a painter, and she's good at it. She does some good work, and just want to show you that. Don't want to get too personal, but I'm very proud of her. So yeah, she's good at it. Yeah, I know. Yeah, looking like a house. Well, I've got a desk. I've got a desk right in front of me. That's why I'm able to set my laptop up on it here. Well, let's go back to the pictures here. Give you something to look at, whilst we're chatting. But yeah, it's a busy week for me usually, guys. I mean, it's non-stop, designing. The guys rely on me for everything they do, basically. The shop floor guys are relying on me to put drawings out, to make sure that we make the items to the sizes that the customer wants. So it doesn't really leave me a lot of time for, streaming and making videos and stuff. And then this morning, I was wanting to practice saxophone, and there's a graveyard out here. I can't really show it to you right now, but there's a graveyard right beside my house, and everyone was visiting, and I was playing my saxophone, and I realized, oh man, these people are probably getting annoyed by my saxophone playing, and they were. So I'm not an asshole, so I stopped playing. I stopped. So bit of respect, even though I mean the dead folk under the ground don't care. You know what I mean? They weren't complaining. I do play saxophone, DJ. I'm not as good as Van Morrison. I don't know if I can play it right now, actually. Let me see if I can do it right now. Guys, hopefully this doesn't sound too shit. You know what I mean? Because this speaker, like this microphone's the only microphone I've got, really. So you can let me know how it sounds. How shit was that? It probably doesn't come across good on this microphone. I wouldn't think, since it's just off a headset. You know what I mean? I'm gonna upload some, DJ. Once I get settled here, I'm gonna do a bit more saxophone playing, and relaxing a little bit. How did that come through? That saxophone, by the way. Does it sound all right? Better reverb. Yep. I need to get wired for sound. If I can get wired for sound in here, I could do like a little concert or something. You know what I mean? I used to be in a band years ago, DJ. I was a saxophone player in a band, and we did what, maybe 7 gigs probably with our band, and pretty successful. But then everything just fell apart. You know the way it does when real life kicks in. Mm, mm, okay, OBS. Can you do that on StreamYard as well, DJ, or is it just OBS? See, StreamYard keeps wanting me to buy it, like to purchase it, and I don't want to unless I know it's going to be able to do everything I want it to do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll record one here, and put it up. If these people go away from this cemetery for a while, they give me a chance to do it. I just feel like I'm bugging them. Or they're there to visit their dead relatives, and I'm playing saxophone. So I think that's the last one on that one. I'm gonna bring up some Ireland ones since DJ's here. Let's do Ireland. You're going to know some of these ones, DJ, I think, obviously. I'll go through this one pretty quickly because I think most of the guys have seen these ones already. I need to do a bit of some new content here. Anyway, there's your Dunluce Castle. Very familiar to you, DJ, I would imagine. But been there many a time. Been there a lot. Walked down these little steps and all. So what our thing is, a lot of times we see these janky steps here, DJ. You'll see these melted steps, and then so they'll tell you it's erosion. Erosion has done it, and made these steps all janky looking. These ones are not too bad, but we've seen some that are, they're melted. They're not eroded. They're just melted. And just Dunluce is an interesting one because we're saying these were probably bricks at one time, DJ. The stone that they're calling like stone you'd see in a castle has just cooked out. It's cooked out, and the iron is gone. The iron's change color into a grayish color, and that's why it's red. That's why they're red. And a lot of times you'll see them; they are still red, even though it's supposed to be a castle. So we're saying it just heated up so much that the iron content is gone. And we don't know everything. No, I don't think anybody, I hope none of our group are claiming that they know everything, because I don't think they are. Now, what we do is we do present ideas. We'll present like the idea of, let's say, all mountains are melted brick buildings. You've heard us saying that. But the honest truth is we don't know. We don't. We can go by evidence and see, it shows that that's what it looks like happened. Like this one, the evidence to me would say that this is melted off. It melted off into the side here, into the ocean. or sea. Sorry, sea. It's not an ocean. But another view of Dunluce here. And from this angle, it looks grey. Everything looks grey. You know, these blocks, you know, but yet there's still some that are red. They still kept the red in them. And you'll see them everywhere. You'll see red bricks in amongst these stones, you know. I'm not saying that means that the whole structure was brick, but it certainly looks like it. The evidence suggests that it is. You know, when you find red bricks in amongst all this stuff, especially on this wall here, this what we'd call a janky wall. You know, I mean, I know it's hard to imagine that this block would grow in size. You know. All right, let's take a little look at what you're saying here, DJ. Oh, biblical trees. Yeah. I think I'll watch that one later, DJ. But I think a lot of us in this group have already watched those ones. You know, we've seen the trees, the giant tree videos. You know, and I must admit, a lot of times it is compelling. You know, a lot of times it is quite compelling that you have a structure that looks like a tree. You know, looks like the remnants of a tree. So I'm not saying that it's not possible, because I don't know everything, and neither does anybody. No one in here does. But I mean, it's good to be confident about what you're presenting. Like, I'm trying to be confident about melted buildings. You know what I mean? That this thing's a melted building, but none of us knows everything. Let's see if we can get on another picture here. These are all Dunluce, so I'm just going to go through them pretty quickly. Dunluce Castle, and that's on the Antrim coast. And for you Americans, very nice drive to go up this coast. Very nice. It seems like everything's melting into the sea. I mean, it's just being realistic, DJ. You know, I'm realistic. I don't know everything, and certainly when you come up against something that's a little bit, let's say it disagrees with what you've been saying the whole time. Like, say you're saying all mountains are melted brick buildings, right? And then you come up on evidence that suggests that that's not true. You know, well, you can dig in and be proud about it, or you can admit it and say, okay, we don't know everything. Why would we want to get into a fight about it? You know what I mean? Why would we want to get into an argument? Because life's too short, man. Life's too short. I mean, I'd rather have a discussion with other people, you know, and not be thought of as being dumb. Because we get enough of that, right? We get enough of that as truthers anyway. You know, people think we're lunatics because we say there's chemtrails in the skies, and they're poisoning the food, and they're, you know, trying to control us in many different ways. So we don't need it amongst ourselves. We don't need it amongst our groups, you know, arguing about stuff that we can't prove. Evidence says that this structure, if you look at it, DJ, my eyes are seeing that this structure is going into the side of this mountain, right? It looks like it's inserted itself inside this mountain. But logically, I know that's not possible. A builder couldn't build this like this. A builder couldn't build it with a janky foundation like that. So the logical thing is that this foundation was built square, right? Straight. And then it somehow sank down into the side of this mountain, right? That's my just logical approach to it, is that this sank down in. And what made it sink down in? Well, we would suggest heat did it. But I know there was also water involved too for the cooling part of it, because these things seem to happen instantaneously almost. You know, it seemed to happen instantaneously. There was a lot of heat, and then suddenly it was taken away, probably by water, probably by a flood. Yes, I would say. Don't know though. I don't know. I wasn't there, and I didn't see it happening. But yeah, Dunluce is a very interesting one to me. And also because I've been there, you know, there's a nice one right there of the Northern Lights over the top of it. Very beautiful picture. Nice and romantic. It'd be nice to take your girlfriend there and look at that. But here is an interesting one because there's red bricks. There's bricks that look like they're half gray, half red in this structure, which is very interesting. Now later on, DJ, we have a stream. It's called hold on, let me make Wiley a mod here. And melted Syracuse too. Sorry guys, I wasn't really watching, wasn't thinking about moderators and stuff at the minute. Oh. Saxophone's going to get wrecked. But Wally, if you wouldn't mind grabbing the Spartans link, if you can, and dropping it into the chat, because there's a show we listen to later on, DJ, at pretty chill. The guy's he's from England, you know, and it's a good show. It's funny. There's a lot of humor and stuff. You know, we like to have fun in it, and it's on later on this afternoon, so you know you might like that. And it's a lot more. They go into a lot more details about, you know, than I've done. I'm just giving a broad overview of stuff here, like, you know. But then again, you know, my opinion is just as important as anybody else's, and so is yours. All of our opinions are important, and that's why I don't want anybody to think that you can't have an opinion. On my stream, you can come up here and you could tell me, you know, elephants fly, and I will sit and listen to you, and I'll let you present your theory about why elephants fly. At the end of the day, I don't have to accept what you said, and you don't have to accept what I've said. No one has to accept what anybody's saying. You can hold two opposing opinions and still remain solid in your own opinion. You should be able to do that. You know what I mean? Shouldn't offend us. I just don't want this whole thing to go like like the flat Earth community went. You know, everybody's like so stuck up their own asses with their theories that they ended up causing all these divisions between each other and dividing it up until it was just fragmented. And then you've got a bunch of people who are on the outskirts who just don't even want to participate in anything like that anymore. and it's my goal to try to bring people together and be able to talk about, stuff that's weird, even if it's weird. I don't care what you want to come up and talk about, you know, if, we'll keep it interesting. That's all. Let me pull up another one here. Something a bit better. This is Castle Ward. I'm sure you might have been there too, I would imagine, DJ, at this one. Okay. Here we'll have Castle Ward. Yes. No, I know. It's okay, DJ. I'm not, like I say, I'm not here to say, oh, everything melted or everything was this or everything was that, because the point I was making is I don't know. I don't know. I'm just using my eyes and looking at it. Like this building right here, Ward Castle. I think you might have been there, DJ. I would imagine. I don't know if it's close to you or not, but it's an interesting place. I've been inside it too. I'm sure maybe you have as well. But yeah, man, I should have a bit of music playing in the background, shouldn't I? Wonder if I can do that. I'm already on a strike, guys, so I can't really push the boat out too far. Well, let me see if I can try to do something here. If I do it this way, maybe it'll be okay. This is a tune I've been listening to all week. Oh. Of course, I'm getting adverts as well. Can you guys hear that? If I get a warning for music, I'm just gonna stop the music because I don't want to lose my channel altogether. Yeah, I know. I hear you, Red. Oh. I'll spend it on my phone. See if I can do it that way. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah, I don't want to get my channel pulled anyway. So like last Saturday we were just streaming and it was Skull Asylum's channel, and I thought it'd be okay to just play some of his stuff, and because it's already up there, right? It's already up there, and he's already mixed it and stuff. But we got a warning, so I don't want to push the boat out too far. Here is Down Cathedral. I don't know if this is probably close to you. I don't know, DJ, but I've been to all these places, you see, and that's why I kind of picked them, because I've actually been physically to this cathedral. And again, it's like for the time period that they said that this was built, they wouldn't have had equipment, like we have now. I mean, wooden scaffolding and stuff, right? Isn't that what they would have said? Wooden scaffolding. ropes, pulleys, stuff like that. There's Kazi. Uh, I see. That's one of Jiro's friends, I think. Maybe Jiro will show up later on. How you doing, Kazi? Exactly. That's what I do, DJ. Just try to keep the what do you call it, drama down to zero if I can. Mm. Hey, Melanie. Good to see you. But yeah, so this, I don't know if you've been at this one, DJ, Down Cathedral. I don't see them as religious structures anymore, just from what we've been looking into and discovering. I really don't see them that way. I'm not sure if these buildings were even supposed to be churches, in the beginning. I think that was all added on later on, just to create division between us. I'm missing some of this chat here. All right, let's move on to the next one. So, I'm going to start streaming regularly on Saturday morning or afternoon. I'm going to try to do it cleverly. We're going to maybe play some music, but we're going to only play a small amount of music, and then we'll have to be chill about it. Mm-mm-mm. Actually, I'm going to take a little breather, and whilst I'm doing that, I am going to play my interval. So I'm just going to go take a quick break. I will see you after. Welcome back. Hopefully, like a little interval section there. Yeah, just put that together with some free music as well. But I'm going to try to edit the sound a little bit. I'm going to try to put on some background music just for the see if we can liven it up a bit. Tell me if it's too loud or if it's overbearing, please. Hey Doug, how's it going, man? But yeah, this was Henry VIII supposedly built this castle, right? And look, you see, they were so clever that they could build foundations at an angle, you know? They could build foundations at an angle. Look at the wall as well. Yeah, a wall needs a foundation as well. But yeah, you can plainly see that there is red bricks in amongst this. Like everything looks like it's grey, you know, except for these red bricks that are like thrown in here somehow. So I guess that's why the theory, we're having a theory that says, you know, this was all red brick at one time and then got heated up to where the iron just melted out of it basically and then changed the color into grey rather than red. And a lot of it remained red, as you can see. But yeah, supposedly Henry VIII built this one. You missed me playing saxophone, Doug. I don't know if it came out too well, but I need to get a better microphone or something just to do a bit of sound and stuff, you know. This is Inch Abbey, and that's in Downpatrick, County Down, Northern Ireland. Cooked out, you know. Again, we don't know everything, but we're just looking at this and saying, look, what does it look like happened? You know, what does it look like happened? You know, either they built it like this, either they built it with janky blocks and misshapen stones and, you know, nothing was the same size and everything was different. Either they built it that way, right? Or they started out with nice bricks, nice blocks. And I would suggest red bricks. But then they got heated. They got damaged. They got damaged to the point where they started to get misshapen with the heat. And you say, like, well, how could a brick, like, melt like that? How could it get changed by the heat? You know? But if you put brick under enough heat, yeah, it will deform. In fact, it will melt in some cases. The fortress in Zagreb in Russia, good example. I'm not sure if you would have seen that one, DJ. Let me see if I can find it. How could a brick melt? Trying to get organized here to where I can actually have know where everything is in my folders. Hopefully I can find this one. May have to look it up on Yandex or something. Look it up on Yandex, which we can do. Not a problem. So this is Zagreb, right? And as Doug is saying, melted as fuck. Yes, it is. Right there. Pull that up. So, as you can plainly see, these bricks are melted. Just in case there was any doubt in your mind that it's possible that a brick can melt, this was Zagreb was a bunker, like a nuclear kind of style bunker, right? And supposedly there was a napalm event in this place, and it obviously turned everything, melted everything in the place. The bricks were falling off the roof. It looks like chocolate dripping down there, guys. Looks like chocolate. That's just in case you would have thought that maybe it's not possible, you know, that a brick could melt. So I need to get a bit smoother at this, don't I? We're getting there, guys. So in Chabi, what we're saying is, yeah, this was a brick building and it got melted. Now these columns, I mean, I can't say, but yes, I would venture to say that inside that column is bricks. And maybe it has a facade of concrete around it. Don't know. I don't know. It's okay to say you don't know. It's actually better to say you don't know. Because if you don't know, then you might be able to find out. But if you think you know everything, then you'll never be able to find out. What I find at work is that engineers who come across as like cocky and like they're going to tell everybody what to do and they're going to belittle like workers and stuff, I find that those guys get treated very poorly. Kevin was my recent guy, and I dealt with Kevin, but I tried to tell him. I told him right to his face. I said, you come across as a pretentious bastard. I told him. I got in trouble, sort of, kind of, for saying that to him. But I told my boss, I said, I didn't mean he was an actual bastard. I wasn't calling him an actual bastard. It was a more metaphorical, you know. So, but I tried to help him, to tell him not to be an asshole and come across as if he knows everything. Because that way you don't get people helping you. You don't get people like pulling together and giving you information that you didn't have before, which is what you want. You need all that information. That's my county down folder. Not much in that one. Let's do some castles. These are my favorite ones to do. All right, this is one of my favorite ones that we do. And this building, me and Doug talked about this one when he was up on here. And so this building starts off as what this would be like an archaeological kind of a discovery right here. These ones, right? And then as you go further up, it becomes more man-made looking, right? Man-made looking. Comes like stones and bricks and that kind of thing. Then it goes back to an archaeological thing, right? It goes back to a, you know, explain that. Explain how it goes back to being rock. See, these are the ones that I love because they're inexplainable by the narrative, the current narrative. And then, lo and behold, it becomes a building again. This is either magic or this whole thing was a building. This whole thing was a building. And it got destroyed. This is the one that I showed to Kevin, who's the engineer I was talking about. I showed this one to him. And he came up with all these different narratives to try to tell his eyes that he wasn't seeing what he was seeing. I asked him, Kevin, how do you go ahead and start building in between these monolithic or megalithic structures? How do you start building in between those? Like, what do you do? How do you start laying bricks and blocks in between these two? I'm calling them megalithic, like archaeological type stones. But yeah, this is one of my favorite ones that I show people who are like Kevin. They think they know everything. So I says, Kevin, how How did they do this one? How did they keep this rock face in here and then build a structure onto the side of it? How did they do that? How did they keep it up there whilst it was, keep it from caving in, right? Kevin. Yep. Kevin's my go-to for being an asshole. I'm gonna change this music a little bit. I'll do a different one. This one's called Jonny, I Hardly Knew You. I hardly knew you. Hope you like that one. Let me know if it's too loud or too soft, and I can change it. But yeah, so after seeing that last one, that last structure, then I take Kevin to this one, and I say, Kevin, how's come there's steps here, bro? What is these steps going to? Like, where are they going? Is that just steps to nowhere inside this mountain? It's a mountain. Is there steps inside of here and a wall and maybe a room or something, or an archway, maybe, perhaps? It's always best to stay humble, because people will call you out when you start saying things that you can't prove. People will call you out. But yeah, it goes from a rock face, right? It's a building, it's a rock face, a mountain. Then we come down here and it starts to develop into man-made structure underneath it. So they've scraped this top surface off, and inside you're finding all these structures, right? You're finding walls and stuff. Very interesting. Do these people know what they're looking at? Not sure. Yeah, that's right. That's right. They're asleep. Melted Syracuse. But I don't feel happy about it. Yeah, drug run. Right. A quick turnaround there, DJ. Brown paper bags being exchanged. I did see a drug run in Pensacola one time. It was the funniest thing, but it wasn't funny, really. I was up on a ladder and we were fixing this sign, and this kid is like maybe 13 years old, maybe less than that. And yeah, I was just watching, and he ran across the street. The car looked as though it hit him. That hit him. He put his two hands on the hood of the car, and he rolled around, and the guy passed him a brown paper bag at the window, and the kid grabbed it and took off, and that was it. It was quick as lightning. But it made me a little bit sad because they're using children to do that. So that was a little bit upsetting. But it happened right in front of me. All right, another interesting one. It's a mountain. Okay, I'm gonna call it a part-time mountain. it's not a mountain all the time. Because if you go in, there starts becoming these openings, whether it be a window, whether it be a door, and they're all over this one. These cavities inside this mountain. Okay, we're going to call them. They'll call them caves. They're caves, right? We would say they're going into rooms. It's rooms. Because just like before in that other picture we showed where the building was part of the mountain, part of it, and built into it, apparently. Same thing here. Except this one's got a little bit more heat. And I think this one's in the Middle East. I don't think this is the Grand Canyon, but we do have some of Grand Canyon. Maybe take a look at those later on here. But look, so here's two openings right here. Right? So we're going to say those are caves. Archaeology is going to say it's caves. Even though just previously, like 2 slides back, you know, if this had gotten more heat, then it would have become like this one. And I'm sorry, the conditions as well. The conditions of this may be a lot more damp. There may be a damp area. Don't know. But this one was in a dry area, which is why it remained red. That's what it seems to be. Just my observation, but damp climates seem to stay gray. And a dry climate seems to turn red. I think it's to do with efflorescence, like you would see in the concrete when it's curing. You know, got that whiteness to it, like a powdery white, you know. Just an observation. But yeah, part-time mounted. And this one is too, Wally. You know, for newcomers in here, look, these are bricks. I hate to break this to you, but these are bricks. And here's mortar lines in between it. These are mortar lines in between it. So these are bricks. Again, we're not pedantic about it. I don't know that everything, like I don't know that all mountains are melted brick buildings. I don't know that. I don't know. Well, what I do know is what I see right here. What is right in front of my face, which is bricks. And they've been cooked out. They're dried out. Another perfect example of a building being inside the side of a mountain. It's inside the side of the mountain. And these are the ones I love because these are undeniable. It's undeniable that these guys did not build this structure into the side of this mountain. They didn't. Especially in this corner right here, guys. How would you cut out to like this pointed pyramid-shaped rock up through this? You'd have to carve it out perfectly. Didn't happen. It didn't happen. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is part of this mountain. And we would suggest with these, this building is the mountain. It became a mountain because it got cooked out. And as Jen likes to say on her stream, what is a mountain? What is a mountain? Look it up in the dictionary. It's a mountain of something. A mountain of beans. Or a hill of beans, right? A mountain of beans. A mountain of rubble, right? So it's a mountain and it requires a modifier, right? Mountain of what? And in this case, we would say it's a mountain of bricks. This one again, same deal. It's part of the mountain, what they would call a mountain. It's becoming the mountain. Becoming the mountain. Both sides. And we like to look at the fixtures too. You know, like the drain pipes that are left over. And you wonder, was this the original? Was the original drain pipe? It seems to have been the original because look at how well it's shaped into this rock right here, or brick, right? Look how well it's shaped in. Made to fit. This looks like it might have been the original drain pipe off this thing. Which is insane. Alright, a little bit harder to see this one. And as you can see, guys, I do mine in progression. I try to do them in progression where it shows worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, right? That's what I was trying to do here. So this is the worst one. Not the worst one, but it's getting worse, right? And you can see that it's flowing around here. It's flowing, right? That became molten at some point. And again, I'm suggesting that this became molten. I don't know, but what I'm seeing is showing me that that's what it is. That's what it did. It melted and it flowed around. I know that one's a little harder to see, that was a building at one point because it's so messed up. It's so muffed up. Hey, Jan, how's it going? A channel called Wise Up. I'll have to check it out, DJ. See what that's all about. But it's good to have you here, DJ. A friendly group in here. You know, we take care of each other. And try to not get into any fights, debates. I mean, we have strong opinions. Yes, we do. I do too. I have strong opinions. So other people do. Well, we don't, we try to not cause division between each other because of it, right? Everybody's theories are valid, in my opinion. I don't know if this girl even knows what's going on here. I think I recognize this girl, actually. But why did she buy holy trousers? She could have bought a pair of trousers with no holes in them. You know what I mean? Might have been better. And this one has become part of this mountain, too. Based on the last few images that we looked at in progression, this was not built like this. It was not built sloping down into this mountain. No. If you follow that down, it looks like it's almost cascading down in there. All these bricks. And you'll notice I'm calling them bricks, DJ, because that's just because of the research that we've been doing. it just does seem that way, you know. And in fact, here's a remnant right here. They're still red on this archway. Yeah, Malta is another world. Is it? I think this is Malta, isn't it? Yeah, I think this is Malta. I've never been, DJ, so I don't know. Our family were not wealthy enough to do, like, go trips like that, you know what I mean? So we had to just do local stuff, like go to the beach. Go to our local beach. Not that we ever got a break to go to the beach, because we're always working. I think it was Malta, DJ, yeah. But these are all just a similar type of pick, you know. It's the mountain, and it's buildings that are set into them. Either they carved it out, right, DJ? They carved it out, and they started building inside this mountain, or this whole thing was a building, and it just got melted, and this is inside it. It's encapsulated inside of it now. See why it's so tight? Everything's so tight onto it. This was not carved out. This was not carved out. It was built that way. But this was all building. Even on top of it, there was other stories to this thing. Other stories. And these archways, they were like this archway, right? These were like that, except they've gotten messed up, muffed up, melted as fuck. I want to put it that way. But yeah, I love these ones because to me, it just so encapsulates, you know, the things that we're trying to get across with our group. And I'm a newcomer. Well, I say I'm a newcomer. Hopefully that music's not too loud, guys. Let me know. But I'm not really a newcomer. I mean, I was watching way back when Jerry was still doing it, you know. Probably by the time Jan and him started doing the movie about it, right? When the buildings cry. Well, I just stay in the background, you know. I like to stay in the background and observe. Don't like to speak before I know all the information, if you know what I mean, guys. But yeah, those are melted castles. I might have one more folder. I'm gonna have to start building my folders again. I hope you guys like that little tune. And just let me know if it's too loud. Yeah, I remember Jerry. He always wore that. It was like a golfing hat, I think. A little golfing hat, or either that, or it was a card dealer hat. You know, that's funny. Aye. Okay. You can't beat a wee fiddle. Let's see if I can pull up another one here. I lost my folders. Germany seems like a good one. I'm so unprofessional at this, guys. So unprofessional. Alright, here we go. Left a big old blank screen there. That was cool. Right. Good for the viewers. Are you not entertained? Well, this one's Cologne Cathedral. Right? And this is the one that we show. I mean, it does fall into the melted category. You know, this is not melted, obviously. But the fact that they were able to build this crazy ass structure, you know, at the time period when they said they did it, you know, here's a crane over here. This is funny. Here's a crane, a modern steel crane. Cool. So did they have one of those back then? Did they have one of those in the 1200s? They didn't have toilet paper, apparently. So, you know, it's hardly likely that they had equipment to build this thing. Everything just molded and perfect and so detailed and ornate. It reminds me of one of those Thomas Kincaid little houses. Thomas Kincaid, like the jigsaws. I love those jigsaws. Doing those. I'm very good at jigsaws. Just to let you know. But yeah. And the tack on top, of course. That's another subject where we do believe that there was tech, you know, to harness the energy, right, into these buildings. And they seem to have either left them on. Sometimes they've removed them, obviously, you know, to get rid of the evidence and stuff. So. Yeah, I think Jerry does a good chess channel now. I think he's doing more chess now than anything else, Wally. You know, he was living in his car for a long time, which, you know, I can't say nothing about that, but I think he was planning to go off grid or something. I'm not sure if he ever did. Or to have time to look into. No. That's right. Is it 1 amp or 100? I thought for every 1,000 feet it was 100. Oh yeah, for 1,000 feet it's 100. Okay, yes. I think that's true, DJ. I'm not sure. You'd have to do tests, you know what I mean? You'd have to run some tests. Check the amperage as it goes up. Again, we're back to, you know, we don't know. We surmise, we look at evidence, we look at, we use our logic, right? To try to, you know, yeah, point down. Don't let them know. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta take care of real life, you know, which I'm doing. Again, Cologne Cathedral, more angle this time, so closer up. Just the windows on top, and always so ornate, you know. So you know, don't often see a building like that today. Don't see people building stuff like that anymore. This is Marienburg, East Prussia. Beautiful castle. Again, angled foundations, angular foundations. Oh, my audio's a bit bad. It's because I'm not using the Hello Kitty headset, Massa. Oh, I was going to zoom in this one a little bit. But yeah, beautiful castle. You know, impossible build, as we know. Impossible. Foundations were not laid at an angle. You know that. Ah, yes, hemp rope. That's right, Melda Sarkers. Yeah, they had the logistics. We talked about that earlier. So you have to do logistics. How you're going to get the building materials on site, right? So you can start building. I think Karios does a great job on that. You know, he does a good job on logistics and talking about ordering materials. So involved food for the workers. I think Ken talked about that one time. How do you feed all these guys? You know what I mean? How do you feed these dudes? Yeah, and usually 5 guys in the pictures, right? 5 guys, burgers and fries. But to build these structures, this is one that it's old world meets meltology. You know, I know there's guys doing old world stuff, like, and that's what they focus in on. Chris on his channel talking about the impossibility of these buildings. Yeah, but look, this one's crossing the boundaries because this is not only a beautiful building built at a time period when they didn't have the equipment, but it's also becoming part of the mountain. It's becoming part of the mountain. So this is where our worlds meet, you know, and Chris and them guys do a great job, you know, talking about these buildings. But we talk about the melt, which, you know, again, you can see it. It's melting into the mountain. So we're grateful for people like Chris and Karios, and they get very technical about it. Very technical, very clever guys, and famous too. Karios has been on the radio, so he's famous now. I don't want to be famous, guys. You know what I mean? Just want to be left alone, almost, right? Like a lot of you guys, you want to be left alone to think for yourself. Again, crossing over both worlds here, the old world buildings, right? Old world building, beautiful, impossible to build no matter what, right? Impossible to build. However, this one's becoming mountain. It's becoming mountain. Look, it's transforming into a mountain. Is my audio still choppy? Let's try some bit of change of pace here. Famous or infamous? I think I'm more infamous than famous. But look at this one. So this is Marienburg again. That's that castle we looked at from the outside. It was beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. But, I mean, I know it's not melted brick in here, but just phenomenal. You know, the woodwork, I mean, Red Storm was in here earlier, and she was doing a little bit of woodwork today, I think, from what she said. Well, I mean, try recreating one of those. That's what I would say. Or any of this stuff. I just like to look at this. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. There's a clock right here. I mean, hand carved, I'm guessing. Or was it hand carved? You know, this is what makes us wonder, was there machines? Was there CNC cutting machines? Like back in the day? Like, did someone actually hand carve this? For real? down in the corner here like this. You know, guys, like, what on earth would it take to make this a clock like this? I'm sure there are skilled craftsmen who could do something like this. I'm sure there are. But what we're seeing is it's not just one or two items. It's not just one or two items. If one hand carver, you know, yeah, okay, you could make these. Maybe this, like, I could probably make these, you know, maybe. I might have to brush up on my wood carving skills, but probably could do it. But it's not just one. You know, you're talking about multiple items. And this is only one building. There's lots and lots and lots of buildings just like this, with the same type of ornate woodwork inside it, you know? And these here, like, they're perfectly the same. They're perfectly the same, guys. I would imagine they'd be cast. It'd be a casting operation. I don't know if you guys agree on that, but I think these were cast, these hinges. They weren't hand beaten, you know? And again, yeah, 5 skilled craftsmen and a couple of donkeys. That's all you needed, right? Even this chair is like fantastic. And the window, we won't even start talking about this window, right? We won't even talk about the windows. But yeah, it's phenomenal work. And it makes you wonder if they had technology that was beyond ours. Marienburg Castle again, from a different angle. Not really gonna talk about that one too much more because we've already looked at it. But you can see that some of the blocks, as they call them, are still red. They're still retaining their redness because they haven't been fully cooked out yet, right? Oh, here's perfect right here. So these are almost still brick at that point. So just hard to look past that. All right. So who wants to come up and talk about this one? Funny. To me, it's so ludicrously funny. Like, what height of scaffolding? What did the scaffolding look like to get up to this? It would take you probably a year to build the scaffolding. Is this Neuschwanstein Castle, DJ? Neuschwanstein? I think it's German. That's a German royal family, I guess, is what they would tell you. You know, they're going to say that, yeah, this was built for king this or queen that, right? But what we're finding is it's much too prevalent. It's much too prevalent. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got the link pinned up top there, Jen. I need to get rid of some of this junk off my out of my StreamYard. But this one's insane, guys. Yes, the danger pay. Exactly, DJ. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to be the one building this scaffolding, would you? And then here, you see it bulging out here. I hope you can see that bulging. You know, this has got a lot of heat on this front end here. That's what we're saying. And, you know, some of this is still red. Look, it just shows you how it could have been localized. Like, the energy could have been just transferred in this one spot and nowhere else. I mean, it got a little bit of heat over here, but they're still there. The bricks are still there. Over here, completely destroyed and utterly destroyed. Hope you can see that there, just bulging out. But yeah, fantastic building. Chris and them guys would love probably to cover this one, I'm sure. But that's Neuschwanstein. Neuschwanstein. I've been there. I was there. I got a key ring and a bottle opener and a t-shirt, I think. But the story goes that the guy who wrote Swan Lake, what was his name? Wagner was supposedly lived in this castle for a while whilst he was writing Swan Lake. You know, I'm sure you're very familiar with that what do you call it, opera or dance. Me too, Red. I was at that castle, Neuschwanstein. Now, this is Schloss Castle, Schloss Drakenberg. I need someone up here who can speak German. Schloss Drakenberg Cathedral. They say this is a cathedral, not a castle. This one's even more ornate than the other ones. It's smaller, looks a little smaller, but it looks smaller, don't know. But these roofs and stuff are just phenomenal. You know, it kind of looks like lead or something on there. It looks like a lead roof, like beaten lead. Of course, it might have been copper at one point, and then it's discolored, right? It could be copper, it's discolored, but it's not green, so I'm thinking this is lead. Because it'd be nice and easy to form, you know, if it's lead. But it does look metallic somehow. Guys, I'm not going to stream all day. I know that the Spartan will be on pretty soon, so, and I'm sure I'll see a bunch of you over there. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop Spartan's link here for you, DJ. He's funny and he's cool, so I just want to make sure you have that link, unless someone can drop it in there. Is that the Spartan link, Wiley? Oh, nice. There you go. Oh, is there no Saturday show today, Wally? I guess there might not be a Saturday show. I mean, if there's no Saturday show, I can keep going, but I'm going to have to take a few breaks just to, you know. And someone needs to come up here and join me too. You know what I mean? Make it a bit more interesting. If Skull Asylum's around, you know, he can come up here. And I like Skull Asylum. He's a smart dude. And he does question what we're talking about. But we need that. We need those questions. Because if you weren't questioned about what you believe and what you think, then you can't really reflect on it. You know what I mean? If someone's going to just go along with what you're saying without questioning it, you may not end up where you're supposed to be eventually. But yeah, did you get that link, DJ? Because yeah, it's a pretty good show. Usually it's Saturday and Sunday in the afternoons, but maybe not Saturday today because you might be not feeling too good or something. Well, I'm going to take a short break, Jan. I'm going to run my interval again, and we can get back at it. Maybe you can share some stuff up on here if you want to. So here we go. Let's take a short break.
say, who else we got? Who? I say, Johnny Cool Milk in the house. I say, who else we got? Who? I say, Johnny Cool Milk in the house. I say, who else we
Oh, could you guys not hear me at all? I was saying all that stuff, and I wasn't even added to the stage. So, yeah, that was a bit pointless. I said, "Hey, Melanie, good to see you." I said, "Hey, Have Bliss, good to see you also." And then I said, "You missed me playing saxophone." So, but that's your loss. But we're talking about this castle, Swain Castle. Oh, and there's Jennifer. Let's see if we can put Jan on here. All right, should we
Oh, hola.
let's do it like this, Jan? Right
Hi.
for now. All right, I'll calm up since you're calming up
There
too.
you are.
There you go.
How are
So
you?
how you like my new digs?
I like it. I like the tire in the background. That's a nice little added
Yeah,
feature there.
I've got that one, and I've got another one over here. It's kind of I've got two spare tires,
You're
but
accessorizing your new place with tires and stuff.
yes. Well, this is a trailer. I bought this trailer, a long time ago, and I was kitting it out to try to make it into like a camper, like somewhere
Okay.
to live in it, right?
Well, I couldn't
Then I
tell
can.
from here that it's a trailer at all. I mean, let me make it big
It's
here.
it's not bad. It's actually not
Yeah,
bad. Let me
it's
do
cool.
this. I'm
It's
just
cool, Johnny Cool.
see. So
Oh,
it's got a bunch of junk in it. You know what I mean? But it's
yeah.
enough for me. You know, it's kind of like a bachelor pad. You know,
Bachelor trailer.
and that's all I need. I don't really need all
Happens
this
in the
element.
trailer, stays in the trailer.
Yeah. And there's a. You see my daughter's artwork down there too.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
she's a painter. She likes painting, so we bought her like this easel and stuff, and all
Oh,
the painting
nice.
stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm trying not to smoke as much on the stream.
Good luck with that.
I know, I
I
know.
don't even care anymore. People always got something to say about me smoking. You know what I got to say?
This,
Oh,
I know. This week has just been like so
smoke a
much
cigarette
shit
right
goes
now?
on, and I don't know if you saw the start of the stream where I was showing what I did this week. You know what I mean? The work I was doing,
No, I
but
missed it. I just got here a little bit ago. I'm
yeah, I
sorry.
mean, I work at a place where I mean, they rely on me to be there. I have to be there. I've taken this week off, actually, a vacation, and they're panicking. Because I'm not going to be there. you know, it's too much pressure. Like I don't really like to be the target. You know, I like to be in the background. But
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
yeah, do you have
One second. I
anything
got to
you
grab
want to
my
share?
ashtray. I'm right here. Hold on.
I
One
no
second.
worries.
I'm right here.
No worries. It's easy going, Jen. We're easy going this morning. Saturday. So I'm drinking beers and smoking cigarettes and
Damn it, man. You're drinking
live
beer
streaming.
already? It's only
Yeah.
2:23. I guess it's 5 p.m.
Well,
somewhere.
yeah, it's these are
Still on my
leftovers
first
from last
coffee.
night. Yeah, these are just leftovers from last night. Yeah, it's beer AM. That's all I know.
Beer AM. I like that.
Yeah, I don't drink a lot, Jen. Honestly, like I might drink like a six pack over the weekend.
Mhm.
Usually, but I don't really. I'm not. I don't need it. You know what I mean? I don't need alcohol to like kind of
Right.
ease my pain or whatever like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't roll like that. It's nice though to relax, like
It's nice to get a
glass of
good little
wine.
buzz on, but I don't
Yeah.
like getting drunk. And it's not like I guess people use it as a crutch for their problems to escape or whatever.
Yes.
But if I
Right.
drink too much, I start worshiping the porcelain god, and I don't do that anymore.
Yes.
I'm not getting
I,
on my
I
knees and worshiping the porcelain god anymore.
I got several friends, Jan, here in that predicament where they are reliant on like substances,
Yeah.
alcohol or other things too. One of the guys told me, he says he's a functional addict. He told me,
There seems to
and
be a lot of those in the world these days.
uh,
Even, the ones who just they abuse pills and stuff, prescription
mhm,
pills, on a daily basis, buying them off people and stuff like that.
right,
And that people are actually at this point getting used to functioning, being on these drugs and stuff. It's like that's the
exactly.
norm.
It's become normal. It's weird. And at work, I know. Okay, at work, it's very dangerous, Jan, because we're working with large structures and we've got cranes and stuff in there. And if someone's drunk or wasted, I mean, it's hard to trust them. I'm sorry. It's
Oh
hard to
yeah, yeah.
trust someone. If they're operating a forklift and they look like they're inebriated, it's hard to trust them, Jan. You,
Oh,
you know?
absolutely. Definitely should not be operating heavy equipment and
Right.
and stuff like that under the influence of anything.
No, no.
If you're
So,
just waving traffic along, though, I mean, you might be all
yeah.
right.
And it kills me because, I've spent my whole life, say my whole life since I woke up, right? Uh, I'm anti pharmaceuticals,
Oh yeah,
zero.
me
I
too.
don't do any pharmaceuticals at all. Like
They gave
aspirin,
me they gave me what was it called? Oxycodone when I had my
ah,
son Ryan. Yeah, for pain, right?
right.
And I got
I get
I
it.
went into the bathroom by myself. I got tunnel vision and wound up on the floor. I just had a
Oh,
baby.
really?
It wasn't a
Okay.
good spot to be in. And she's like, "What are you doing on the floor?" The nurse says to me, "I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing on the floor. Can you get me up?" But yeah,
Wow.
I can only do ibuprofen and Benadryl. That's all I can do.
Yeah.
And if I had to take antibiotics, yeah. But as
And
far as
I don't judge anybody, Jan, for doing it. I don't. I'm not. It's not about that. For me, I you know I don't take it myself personally, but like say aspirin or something like that. If you got a headache, if you take aspirin a lot and
Mhm.
then try to take it for a headache, it won't work. It doesn't work. It's because you've overdone it.
yeah, you got to
You've
take it
used it
as
to,
needed. You can't abuse
yeah,
it. Your body gets acclimated to it and stuff. Like I'll
right,
take the Benadryl sometimes to help me go to sleep at night because it makes me really drowsy.
right, right.
And if I'm having trouble like turning my brain off, I'll
Yes.
take 2 Benadryls a half an hour before I'm going to bed, and I'm guaranteed to get to sleep, however long that sleep lasts. But
Hmm.
yeah, sometimes I just need something to help me switch off my brain because sometimes when I lay down, I'm trying to, quiet myself down to go to sleep.
Yes.
All this stuff's just running through my head and I can't turn it off.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Recently, I've been looking into stoicism. Have you ever have you ever seen
Stoicism,
that stuff,
stoic,
right? So
yeah,
stoicism, it's
yes,
like reclaiming yourself, basically, reclaiming your mind and stuff.
yeah.
And right enough, for the past maybe 10 years, I have had trouble sleeping. I've told people this before. I was an insomniac up
Mhm.
until just recently, where it's learning how to keep things in your mind that are important and just
Yeah,
throw the rest away. You know what I mean? Anything it's not important, you get rid of it and don't even think about it.
yeah.
And I'm an overthinker. I do overthink
Yes,
things.
I overthink too.
So that's what keeps me up at
Some
night.
people say that's worrying, but it's not. I don't worry. I let go of worrying because that's useless. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't. I can't
Mm-mm.
control anything by worrying. It just makes it worse for me. But yeah, as
Right.
far as just letting go and um, just focusing on what's important and knowing when to not focus on that and focus on
Hmm.
yourself and letting yourself get rest and everything and not feeding into the bullshit, all this other stuff. That's why, like a lot of people who, used to give me shit on YouTube and everything, none of that even bothers me. It doesn't even
Right.
affect me at all anymore.
The
Um,
YouTube world is honestly, I let it get into my head too much
yeah.
for a while, and I had to just
Everybody does
stop it.
that in the beginning, though.
Yeah.
It
Uh,
happens.
you just have to stop it and just. I didn't watch any YouTube for a while. Just kind of do things that's important. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like look after
Haters
your
are going to
children.
hate. Haters are going to hate. That's what haters do. You can't
Hmm.
change it. And,
Oops.
what goes
A
around comes
bug.
around. So,
A bug crawled into my beer, so that was
oh
nice.
no.
Yeah, that was nice. I
I
need
hear
to get a
bugs are
screen.
full of protein.
Have to get a screen door on this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you might want, especially in Alabama. You don't know what kind of
Right.
bugs going to crawl in there.
We were just talking about cockroaches last night. They're not as bad here, but like in Florida, when I
Yeah, the
lived in
big
Florida
flying
for a
ones.
while, those palmetto bugs, those big
Yeah,
ones, you know what I mean?
scary. They're like
They're
Jurassic down there.
wow. And then there's the little tiny ones, the German cockroaches they call them. You know, those were the ones you didn't want in your house. You
Yeah,
know,
because they never leave.
and no Melanie, I didn't eat it. Okay, I I spat it out. So
What's up, Melanie? I just saw you in the chat here. Oh, yeah. I had
yeah.
bugs for lunch.
Did you want
That's
to show anything or anything, or you want to talk
Do I
about
want
anything
to
in
show
particular?
anything? I don't know. I know I got stuff. I always have stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see what I can dig up over here in my favorites. Guys might.
And I still look into the AI stuff and all as well, Jen. You know, I keep an eye on that stuff. You know, the growing AI, and I've
Right.
noticed that as an engineer, you know, when I go looking for a job, there's a lot of work for if you're wanting to develop AI stuff and add it to robotics. You know, like combine the two. Yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of jobs for that right now, and it's kind of getting scary. You know, because like if you do create a robot that can do a human job, you know, a lot of people are going to be out of work. It's
Yeah.
not right. It ain't
Yeah.
right.
And to rely on automated systems like that, it's no good for humanity in so many
Mm-mm.
respects because nobody learns these skills. They leave it all up to the AI or whatever. Like at Honda and different car places, manufacturers, they use mostly robots now.
Yes.
But then
Yep.
people forget these skills. They don't know how to do it. Just like with the people don't know how to read and write anymore. They just Google everything or ask AI
Right.
to do it, and it's all done. They don't have to think anything out. There's no critical thinking. These parts of your brain that need to be used will atrophy if you don't use them.
Yeah. Yep.
And then what
True.
happens when all this goes away? Well, you're back to square one, having to figure out how to do all this stuff. And
Right.
if you don't have skilled people who know these things and they can pass that along to other generations, you just left it all up to the AI, and all those people are gone who created this stuff. What are you going to do? I mean, the kids
Right.
today, if you put a rotary phone in front of them, they don't even know how to use the damn thing. You know?
Hmm. Right. No, I don't know. They wouldn't know how to use it. You know, or a tape player.
Yeah.
I remember watching this thing recently where they had an old cassette player. You know, and they were trying to get these kids to figure out how to use this thing. You know what I mean? This
Oh boy.
cassette tape. It's funny. It's funny.
I got
Oh,
a
and
screen share.
the chemtrails are getting worse and worse too. And I sorry, but I gotta drop this, Jen.
It's always about penises and balls. God, it's always about penises and balls.
It really is. You can't deny it. I mean, you
That's
saw the
funny.
penis rocket that those supposed women went up in, right?
Yes, I'm
So
trying to add
obvious.
you to. I gotta add you to stage. I'm hitting it, but oh, hold on. Maybe I need to do this. Oh, I need to take mine off. That's why. I'm just getting used to all this StreamYard stuff, Jen. You know,
Yep. Can you see my screen share now?
I can. Do you want
Okay.
it full screen or what do you want?
Whatever you want, it's fine. I don't care. I'm good. All right.
Okay.
So, we're talking about these impossible builds and how do they do this and why don't we do this stuff today and everything. Well,
Yeah.
this is cast iron lace bridge
Oh
here.
wow,
Yeah,
wow.
it's in St. Petersburg. I believe this is Russia. And
Yes.
they say it was made in 1858. 1858. It's right here.
18.
1858.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like that.
yeah, I mean, look at this stuff here. How the hell did they do that? What kind of skills did it take and just to form this and lay it all
Yeah.
down to even come up with the idea?
What are they saying about that? Are they saying those are individually made those
Yeah,
components?
I think it's right down here.
Because
It
it
says
looks like they're cast. They'd have to be
yeah,
cast. You
cast
know?
iron pavements
Yeah.
on the shores of the Gulf of Finland partly owe their appearance to chance, it says here. I'm sorry, this thing keeps popping up on me. It says in
Chance.
1858, the construction of the whatever word that is, steamship plant was completed. It's
Wow.
let's see, last 11 years, and the importance of the facility is evidenced by the fact that the construction was supervised by Nicholas the First, I guess it says here. It doesn't really talk about what they're doing here. Let me see. Let me get down a little bit more.
We build steel structures every day, Jen. You know, we build them every day. And if my guys looked at that there, they would have a fit about
Yeah,
that.
right.
You know what I mean? How that was done. I love those ones for those guys because they're they're actual workers, Jen, and they know how what it takes to make something like that. You know,
Yeah.
most people wouldn't know.
So it says, however, the ancestors managed to find zest in such seemingly ordinary things as the design of city pavements. To see this, you need to take a short trip to whatever this word is. Here you walk along the streets of the Crown City. We call it the Corona City.
Ah,
You
yes.
can see fragments
Perfect.
of an unusual road surface, pavements paved with patterned cast iron checkers, a sight that cannot be seen anywhere else in Russia. So it's limited to this area here, but
Yeah.
the functionality of it, they don't really get to it here. I don't have to see where they're talking about it. Let me see here. Let me go back down here. I saved this a long time ago. City pavement paved with cast iron checkers. This method of paving, what is this? Was patented by engineer Knapp and was unusual even for American cities. Only New York, Boston, and Chicago could boast of fragments of such pavement. So that means that there's a few cities in America that have some small sections with this same paving on it. Subsequently, they appear on European continent in Warsaw and London. So if at least 3 or 4 American cities had it, and they're saying a few cities in Europe and then in Russia had it. To me, that means there was a lot more that had it. This is maybe all that's left now, what we can see. But this says the unusual cast iron lace made such an impression on Russian guests that he took several samples with him before sailing home. So let's see. The master casters easily reproduced the cast iron checkers which decorated the plant yard. So this wasn't even on a pavement, this one thing. It's in a plant where they were building ships, and it's in the plant yard. I mean, why would you do that?
I have no clue.
The unusual appearance of the road surface immediately attracted everyone's attention. So they're talking about the attention. I want to know the functionality of it here. Okay. He ordered a trial section of cast iron pavements to be made in a place characterized by heavy traffic. Okay. As a result, by 1860, a full-fledged public accessible cast iron pavement with a total length of 160 meters disappeared along the fence of the new Admiralty near the Stump Bridge. Okay. And that would be this. So here's the bridge, and it's got that iron cast paving thing on it right here.
Nice.
You can see a little bit better picture here. You like how they say that they ordered it and it just appeared. Right? Okay. So it just appears out of nowhere.
All right. Yeah.
It says right
Magic.
here. It says a full-fledged. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Let me do this. A full-fledged public accessible. Why does this thing keep popping up on me? It's really annoying.
I know.
Cast iron
It's the
pavement with
AI.
a total length of 160 meters had appeared along the fence.
Appeared.
Okay, so they're not going to get into the logistics, how they ordered this thing in the 1800s with like barely any communication in 1860, and the people bringing it in and laying it. No, you don't get none of that. It just appeared.
Yeah, just out of nowhere, magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
That's amazing. What a bunch of bullshit.
Clearly, this had some kind of technical view here. It says, from a technical point of view, paving was carried out as follows. The entire space allotted for it was dependent. Yeah. The recess was compacted and filled with granite crushed stone, about 15 centimeters thick, and the crushed stone was tightly rolled. Okay, I wonder how they did that. The road was framed by large cobblestones. Well,
All right,
cobblestones didn't
cobblestones.
exist, so that's a problem.
Yep, I
The
know.
cast iron blocks were laid on a canvas prepared in this way. After installing and connecting the blocks with the help of teeth, the gaps, both in the blocks themselves and between them, were filled with granite crushed stone and then carefully compacted. Thus, a solid mass of smooth highway was created. The physical wear of such a surface was not very noticeable. It was only necessary to periodically renew the granite coating. So they're saying they use this for wear and tear on roads.
Yes. Likely story.
The new city surface gained an impressive number of supporters. Particular engineer Cologne Eller, under whose leadership the bridge was built. Of all the pavements that exist up to now, both Russia and throughout Europe in general, the cast iron pavements built in 1860 in Krostadt, whatever that word is undoubtedly the best. And although at first glance it seems that this kind of road arrangement is very valuable, but if you delve into the strength and compare it with other pavements, you are convinced that cast iron pavements will almost be the most profitable from an economic point of view. Okay.
It seems pretty expensive to me.
After the cast iron blocks perfectly withstood the harsh winters of 1860 to 1861, it was decided to similarly pave several more of this town's pavements, which were successfully operated until the beginning of the Great Patriotic War. Okay. September 1841, an order came from Moscow to Leningrad to cast 1 million mine hulls, with 70,000 were ordered to be manufactured by whatever plant. Difficulties in finding raw materials focused us to pay attention on ancient cast iron sabers. Okay.
Sabers. Yeah.
Weird.
The
Act
logistics.
like it's like no big deal. They just put the order in and the shit
Right.
appears.
Right. The
Okay.
logistics, like I know I love Carrios when he talks about the logistics of these
Yeah.
things. You know, where you getting the materials from, how you getting them there, you know, the cost of it, the feeding the workers, there's so much to it, you know.
Yeah, this says it's near a naval cathedral. Have you ever heard of a naval cathedral? Or Naval? Is it Naval Cathedral, I guess?
It must be like a navy, you know,
Naval?
cathedral, like, you know, military stuff.
Naval's probably different than naval. I think I'm just saying it wrong.
I
However,
have no
these
idea
checkers are
what it is.
post-war remarks. All I know is it looks pretty amazing, and I think this would definitely have something to do with the grid system as far as the motherboard is concerned. These are probably all over all the roads, okay? And, I mean, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but it probably was on a lot more roads than what they're telling us prior
Yeah.
to the X Factor event.
Yeah. And that would help with conductivity, like with electricity as well. Like, you know, if that was embedded in the pavement, you know, I'm just thinking about that, you know, electric would travel a lot easier through that, you know.
Oh, Dean just texted me, said he's about to go live.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been on here for a long time, it feels like.
All right, well, I'm going to drop this link in the chat in case anybody wants to check this out on their own. And let me see.
Absolutely.
It's pretty interesting. Hopefully that works. Guys, let me know if that link works. I think I dropped it in there. Looks like it might have worked.
Yeah, we weren't sure
I
if Dean
put it in the private chat. Hold on. Okay, Johnny, I put it in the private chat. You know how to get to the private chat, right?
Yes.
All right, grab the link and you put it in to the main chat because I can't do it on my end.
Okay. We'll do it.
And this way you guys can check out that site and look more into it if anybody wants to, maybe do research on it, do a video on it, whatever.
Yeah.
Because most people have never heard of this.
All right. We'll give people a minute to get that. And we didn't know if Dino was going live today or not, so that was the reason we just continued.
Yeah, he just texted me, so he must be going live, I guess, at 3:00 here.
Nice. Maybe I'll jump on there with him for a minute.
Yeah, maybe I'll jump on too. I'm already on here. I don't really got nothing going on, so
I was just testing
my channel for a little while, just taking a break from the research and stuff.
I know.
Jumping on here and leaving it up to somebody else, that's really not a problem.
It's nice. Yes, I know. I know it.
I've just done so much over the years that I feel like I need a break at this point. I got a lot still going on in my personal life, and it's kind of taken away from my drive to do research and stuff. So
100%.
I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm just going to take the break that I need and roll with it.
It's the Bible says, "Do not be weary in well doing." You know what I mean? So you got to look after yourself, and that's what I'm doing too, Jen. So.
Yep. Yeah.
But not that I've given up, because I haven't. But we're just,
never give up, never relent.
Nope, never back down.
That's right.
At all. All right. Well, thanks, Jen. And like I say, I'll just end the show with my usual Johnny Cool, and then we'll all go over to Dino's, I guess.
All right, sounds good. I love you guys. Good to see you. I'll see you over there.
See you later. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for coming, guys. Bye.